following broadcast is intended for mature audiences. These are real people sharing very real, deeply personal experiences. This content may be considered triggering for others and for those who are sharing. The chat room is a privilege intended for discussions and sharing. You are not being asked to agree, but you are being asked to stay civil and refrain from personal attacks. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome back to Am I Mental? Your weekly live podcast where real people share real stories about mental health and living with issues that do impact mental health. I'm your host, E, and with us, as always, is our co-host, Bexy.
Hello, everyone.
And our co-host, C.
Hello.
And tonight, a little bit reversed here. Didn't get to do a pre-show with the guests. I didn't sign up the guests. I don't really know what's happening here. I don't know a lot about this person. Got a little bit of chat before we started, and they're cool. I like them already. Bexy is going to be primarily running the show while I'll be doing backup with C. That said, the chat's already picking up, which is great. We have Kat and May in there, or May. I always get it backwards. Anyway, just so everybody is aware, we do depend on donations in order for the show to keep running at the capacity that it's at with the 3-hour episodes and the website and everything. And our web hosting's coming up due. Now, I could probably go ahead and do that out of pocket, and that's fine. I don't have a problem doing that. It's just it's really nice having the show kind of take care of itself. So that's money that I could go ahead and buy things like, I don't know, new pair of shoes that I could need. Some clothes that look like shirts that don't have holes in the armpits, stuff like that. No big deal. But no, seriously, if you like what you're doing, share our episodes, especially ones that resonate with you think will resonate with others. Give us a like, give us a follow, give us a favorite, whatever it happens to be on the platform you're listening to us on. And definitely, if you want to help us out further, donations are great. Just go to amimental.net/donate. There's a number of ways that you can donate, including we do have a storefront, a Teespring store, so you can buy some swag. We got t-shirts, hoodies, tote bags, stickers, and hey, guess what? Masks are coming back, and we still have our masks up there, so there's also that. Outside of that, we have our guest, Mr. W. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what we're talking about tonight?
Right. So, as you just established, my name is Mr. W. Just talking about just this absolutely insane adventure I've had for my entire life, basically, but especially the last handful of years. It has been it's never been dull, but man, has it been a crazy ride. Up and down and every which way but loose.
Sounds a lot like my life, to be honest.
Yes. I think, a lot of our listeners can relate to that whole crazy adventure life. It's not exactly what we would have chosen, but it's been something. So why don't you, kind of start at the beginning and, let us know how this all started for you and how it, affects your mental health and everything.
Well, in the beginning there was nothing, and then wrong script.
And some dude said something about let there be light. That there was this big bang, and I don't know.
Wrong script. Right.
Yeah, I like him already.
Wait. How does this go again? It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. That's again the wrong thing, I think.
That's a different book.
My name is Ahab. Oh, wait.
Call me Ishmael.
Who is John Galt?
Okay, now we're getting on a tangent. Let's let Mr. W tell his story before we go off.
Oh man. So, I think this really all started to come to a head probably, say around about 2010-ish. This really started out. That was my sophomore year of high school. I've been bullied at school ever since I was 5, but things really didn't hit their peak until I was in high school. And that's true for a lot of people, but it wasn't physical, thankfully, but man, there were days when, honestly, there are a lot of kids who, especially in high school, they'll be afraid to go to school, but there were mornings when I was afraid to wake up, much less to go to school. I was afraid to get out of bed because I knew what was coming. Every day, people treat me like dirt.
That's awful.
Wow.
And you were saying, Bexy?
I said, oh, it is awful, especially, when you've gotten to the point where you're afraid to even wake up and put your feet on the ground because of the way that people treat you. It's terrible.
I mean,
Oh yeah.
I had real bad eczema on my hands back then, and all that stress just made it worse. And there were days I'd come to school and I looked like I had like burns on my hands. It was just cracking and bleeding so bad. Sorry for the visual, any of you if you're triggered by that.
It's okay.
No, that's fine, because that's just, it's just one more thing that you can't help that happening to you, but, the people around you are going to use it as another thing to bully you about. I understand.
Ammunition.
Surprisingly enough, they didn't. Usually.
Oh,
that is surprising.
that is.
Sometimes people would be like, dude, what happened? Like, did you burn yourself or something? Stuff like that, but that'd be about it. No one else would comment on it.
Meanwhile, when you were saying that, I looked at my chat and noticed that Bexy sent a picture of ribs, so that was an interesting correlated visual with what you're saying when I was looking at that. I was like, what?
Yes, before we went on the air, I was eating dinner and I had ribs.
Sorry, it's just... It hit differently, let me just put it that way. Anyway, go ahead.
Yes, sorry.
There were a lot of other students who just wouldn't give me the time of day. They wouldn't even look at me, which was fine. But when you're a somewhat extroverted person like me, that can get annoying.
I hear
hardly
you
anyone's
loud
looking
and
at
clear.
I can't relate.
I don't know. I'm an introvert, but I can be extroverted, so I kind of get it, but it's like
Either
for a
you're
lot of my life,
It's either you're talking a million miles an hour about everything under the sun, or you're completely silent and observing. There is no in between.
Yeah.
Yes.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
100%. Nowadays, that is me. A lot of people nowadays have been like, dude, you are so quiet and introverted. It's like, no, introverted implies that that's your choice. You're choosing to be quiet.
Yeah, and then you're like, I learned to keep my mouth shut to keep people from noticing me.
Yes, I've learned it. That is part of it. But there is the other end.
Right?
Yeah.
Where everybody has just shut me up over the years.
Meanwhile, Kat in the chat room said that it's so sad. I didn't want to go into certain bathrooms because of the smokers and quote-unquote tough girls. But I wasn't really ever really bullied. Meanwhile, me, I was bullied pretty heavily.
Yeah, it was never physical. Nobody ever attacked me or anything like that. Physically. But I'll admit, by the time I graduated, there's this little bit of me that was like, that kind of, I don't know if it's like a masochism kind of thing, but kind of wanted someone to just jump me one of these days. Because that would be it.
It would have been a different type of pain, too.
Yes.
Different kind of hurt. I mean, I don't care what people say. I know that all forms of abuse are horrible. Physical abuse is absolutely horrible, but the mental and emotional abuse, people sometimes don't realize how bad that can hurt too.
Because it sticks with you.
That leads to suicide sometimes.
Sometimes it does.
Yeah, one of my friends, God, I wish I knew her longer, closest friends in high school, my senior year, she was a freshman, wound up hanging herself because she was bullied on Facebook. Right after spring break. She was 14. Didn't even turn 15.
Whoa.
I freaking
And I found out about it the morning after it happened. Because she died Sunday night. We all found out about it Monday morning. At school.
That's
oh yeah, she's dead.
Oh yeah, she's dead.
Carrie's dead.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So she's dead. She committed suicide. Anyway, break out your history books. Go to page 73.
No, it wasn't like a teacher found out about it. No, what had happened was someone had found her in this park that's right down the street from school.
Oh God.
Yeah, some lady was out for a jog and found her.
Oh, that's
Oh my
awful.
God.
Yeah, she's out walking her dog. Next thing you know, boom, body.
Oh.
And meanwhile, Ariel said that she's definitely become very introverted, and it's easier to recover from physical pain. May did the whole, when you're talking about wishing someone would jump you, she's all, let's fuck around and find out.
Ariel said, oh my God.
Yeah, a lot of sad faces and stuff in the chat. May, the death over the school PA announcements were the worst. I was never subjected to that. We did have a PA system. Even though I lived out in the boonies, our PA system was primarily smoke signals. But, no, we never had that happen.
Yeah, it was not a PA thing. They did not announce that. It just spread real quick. Someone found her, and, yeah, it's her. She's going.
I'm fortunate
I was
enough.
on Facebook at the time. I'm not now. I swore off it after she died, and I've never been back. That was in 2013.
A lot of bullying goes on over social media, and
Oh yeah.
tons of it on all platforms. It's not just Facebook specific or anything like that. It is all over on tons of platforms, and it's not always kids that are doing it. There are grown adults that to this day feel the need to bully and rip down people, which is just sad.
Anonymity has made people brave. They don't really see other people as other people, just kind of names on the screen. They don't really care.
And there are people who need to be brought down a few pegs because they're not high and mighty. But that's different.
Well, that's
Right.
That's kind of why I get in troubles, because I find those people, I'm like, you know what, asshole?
Kick him in the shin.
I've had E fight a couple of people over me before because they were mean. But, I've gotten to the point where I just stand up for myself now. I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Go away. I insult them and they don't realize I've insulted them. And then I laugh and laugh and laugh and show E screenshots.
Yeah, a lot of times it's these people, it's very lowbrow. It's very, pedestrian level, grade school level stuff. And sadly, that's the extent of their maturity and intellect. So they think that they're, I got you because you're using words I don't understand. Okay. Okay, dude.
Yes. I called you an ignoramus and you called me fat. Who's smarter? But anyway.
I mean, that cyberbullying, it's no joke.
No, it's not. It's not at all.
May said, but like bullying, the person standing up is the one labeled as the bully or as a bully.
Yeah, they can.
Oh,
be.
yeah, it can happen that way. You stand up for yourself, and they can label you as like, oh, well, you're bullying me now. No, I'm just standing my ground, and you're not used to that. I haven't said one thing to, that could be considered bullying, honestly, but you just don't realize the difference.
I'm sorry, you don't understand that responding is not bullying.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Defending yourself is not bullying.
Right. How dare you hit me back, you bully?
Yeah. I'm going to tell the
You're just
principal
supposed to
even though
drop
I
to
hit
the
you
ground
first.
when I blast you with my, verbal acuity, which is like 0.
Anyway, back to Mr. W.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So this is where the chat's gonna blow up. I just know it. If it hadn't already.
Well, let it all out, because you know what? This place here, this is a safe space. You can say anything you feel you need to.
You often hear people say, like, yeah, I was bullied like shit at school, but at least my home life was okay. At least I had a good home to come to. Well. By comparison, yes. Comparatively, night and day. But, I took a lot of verbal abuse, particularly from my mother, and I still do. Not as much lately, like very recently, but some of the things she said to me over the years have just been like, how could you say it to anyone? Much less your adopted child.
Ooh. Like, that defies. I can't understand that.
I don't understand it either.
It's like my oldest is not biologically mine. I'm not together with his mother anymore, but he's still my kid, and I still love and defend him. I don't get why you would bring someone into your life to bully them.
And it didn't start out that way. When I was a little kid, I was bullied. Like I said, I've been bullied since, all the way from kindergarten all the way through high school. By different people, but still. And right when I was a little kid, Mom was in my corner. I'd come home all sad from being bullied, and Mom was right there at the bus stop picking me up. And something changed when I was in high school. She just flipped. And granted, things got real bad. Yeah, she'd be there. But, man. Sometimes we'd argue and just yell at each other, and the next thing you know it, she'd be saying just the worst shit. Honestly.
Like, can you, do you feel comfortable giving an example of some of the things that she would say to you?
Here's one. Oh, the chat's about to go Chernobyl. Here goes. She told me this, I think, twice in my entire high school career. Now, just as a preface, I'm on the autism spectrum. I've got ADHD. I got all kinds of mental problems. And more recently, I've been diagnosed diabetic. But
you know what? I'm right there with all of that.
She told me that I would never learn how to be a normal, basic human being, unless it could have been Until. I can't remember if it was Unless or Until. Someone just beat the tar out of me. Just left me bloodied.
What the fuck?
That is
That's
most-
exactly
Coming from
what
a
I
woman
was
who was
going
beaten
to
up when
say.
she was in school.
Okay, I can understand having
She
some...
once got beaten, like, almost to the hospital when she was in middle school. So,
That she should know better than anybody
Oh.
that doesn't change anything.
yeah,
The
that's
cycle.
not going to help anything at all. And, that's... As someone who has also had a mother who has said some ridiculous things to them, I feel for you. Absolutely, because I know what that's like.
Yeah, suddenly the stuff that my dad said that stuck, I can say it was nowhere near that level. I mean, it was bad.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but Jesus.
she's telling this to her autistic son.
Well, one thing I can say is I don't believe I'm on the spectrum. But everything else that you said that you have, like ADHD and, yeah, diabetic, yeah, got those. So, really fast, in the chat again, got to back up a little bit here. Kat, she was saying, I worked or did in a K-12 school district. They now have software that monitors what students are sending back and forth. The administration is taking it very seriously, which is great for on-campus cyberbullying.
That is great. But
And effective
Yeah, K-12, those
outside of school.
in-school things are heavily monitored.
Oh, yeah. May was also saying there's a lot of that in narcissistic or physically abusive relationships about the emotional abuse and mental abuse.
yes.
And I went ahead and threw in there bullies and narcissists tend to go hand in hand. That and a complete lack of self-awareness.
Yes.
And then after what you said, Kat, wow, with a wow emoji. And then May, that's fucked. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and in case you weren't aware, we do have the explicit tag on our podcast. So you can say things
And-
like, fuck, fuckity fuck, fuckity fuck, 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 fuck.
And meanwhile, there's my little brother. Okay. Preface, I love this kid to death. We're not genetically related at all. We're both adopted. But, it's as if we're flesh and blood. Me and him.
Well, yeah, that's your brother.
Yeah.
You grew up with him.
But
Exactly.
his first two initials are JC. And
Jesus
they treat
Christ.
him like he's
Oh, wait.
another JC.
So the joke was actually apt.
There are times where, honestly, it seems like they think his shit doesn't stink.
I've never understood that when a parent favors one child over another.
Granted, my brother is a very talented actor. He's gonna go places. I just know it. As long as he doesn't slack off or, do anything stupid, this kid's gonna win Tonys or like Emmys or even Oscars, depending on which type of acting he winds up in.
That's awesome.
He's an amazing actor. He can't sing, so he's not gonna do musicals, but he can act.
Well, can he lip sync?
I guess.
So, I mean, there was this
You can
group
get-
back in the 90s that
Milli
made a
Vanilli,
career of it.
right.
Yep.
Yeah. As long as you don't
Blame
get
it
caught,
on the
they don't
rain.
know.
yeah.
He can't sing or anything, but he sure can act. And like I said, as long as he doesn't fuck it up, he is gonna be going places.
Watch him be all, I just signed up for the lead for Moulin Rouge. Dude, do you know how much singing is in that?
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
He was in Evita his senior year of high school.
Wow.
And he had a bit part. He wasn't even like the star. He wasn't Juan or, one of the big stars. But I'm like, dude, do you realize how much singing is in Evita?
So yeah,
Granted, you're one of the background parts of this play, but you're screwed, dude.
you're like, well, fortunately, I don't have to sing solo, so I could just fake it.
Yeah, basically what he did, he faked it.
You just got to make sure the other person sounds good, okay?
That was the
It'll be
only
fine.
school performance of his that I actually saw, like live. I've seen recordings of all the others, but I went to see him in the Evita because it's his senior play. I mean, come on, it's the very last stage production that he's in high school. Hell with it.
Plus, you probably wanted to see if you actually did sing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's that brotherly thing right there. You know, yeah, it's my brother. He's in his senior year, and I want to see if he fucks up the singing.
It's like, he's my brother.
Brotherly
I
love.
love him, but if he messes up, I want to be there to see it.
Yep.
I want to be there to clown his ass.
Uh,
100%.
I hope you're proud of me. I have refrained from bursting out into song while we are talking about Evita.
I'm glad. 'Cause with the delay that we have, I'm sure that when we're singing and we think that we're synchronized, people are listening are going, oh, God, can't they synchronize?
Probably.
Yeah.
It's all out of tune.
So, basically, your home life, from what I'm getting, is that not only was it bad because you were treated basically like shit by your adoptive mother,
Yeah.
but then you had that contrast where your other brother is treated like he's holy, which probably just makes you feel even worse.
Pretty damn close.
I can only imagine living in that kind of a dichotomy just would make it worse.
I mean,
Because it's like, you're capable of being this
I have-
awesome parent.
some academic achievement, and they've noticed that, but it's like I'm like the Billy to his Alec. You know?
Oh, wow.
Baldwin brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alec is like super talented, tons of acolytes, whereas Billy's like, okay, yeah, he's also an actor.
Isn't there even another Baldwin that's even more
There's
forgotten?
4 of them.
There's William Baldwin, too, and there's another one.
Danny.
Steven.
Yeah.
Danny is a real piece of work.
Wasn't Danny the one that did Fear Factor as a host?
I think so.
Yeah.
He was the one that was, like, drugged out of his mind. He actually came...
Yeah, he was drugged out of his mind.
Yeah, I was working at a Kinko's in the San Diego area, and he came in, because there must have been some kind of something going on in San Diego, where the Baldwins were there, and he came in, and I mean, he was high as fuck, and he was looking for materials to make signs. And I'm like, well, this is Kinko's. We got shit for making signs. So that was my only brush with anybody that's been famous on TV.
He did World's Dumbest. That was the other big show he was in, was World's Dumbest on True TV.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He was good on that show, not gonna lie.
He wasn't bad on Fear Factor either. As a host, he's actually a solid host.
Yeah.
Just don't ask him
That's
to act.
That's all he can do. It's hosting.
Yeah, no, I still love the Family Guy gag that they did with Alec Baldwin and the rest of the Baldwins. Alec would come home after getting fat off of all of his Hollywood stuff, and then he would take off his shirt and breastfeed his other brothers.
I remember that episode.
It was one of the better gags that they ever threw out there.
Oh, my God, I love that.
I remember that episode.
It's like, yes, you too, Billy. You too.
Eat up. You know you're the weakest.
That was the other thing, is Billy is so scrawny compared to the others.
Really, truly.
And, like, physically, I'm more like Alec. My brother is more like Billy. Really tall and skinny.
But he's a talented actor, like Alec. Alec, I have my issues with him. I've always had some issues with him throughout the years, like his entire career. But I will never say he's not a talented actor. He gets into a character, it's believable. He is a very talented actor.
Although a lot of his characters run in the same vein.
Yeah, but I mean, he knows what he's good at.
Right.
You know? And I'm cool with that. You know, as long as he's not the one-trick pony where it's like, Jesus Christ, it's the same character again. Like, to the T.
Ryan Reynolds?
Ryan Reynolds was that way for a while. The Deadpool came along.
Does Mick sponsor you guys?
No, the one that I was...
that sponsorship.
I was thinking more along the lines of... oh, God damn it. I can see him clear as day now, and I can't think of it. Will Ferrell.
Oh, yes.
Every single movie, he's exactly the same. And the one time that he goes and actually shows that he can act, and he did a good job of it, no one liked it. Which was totally the opposite of what happened with Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey finally showed he could act, and people loved it. But Jim Carrey did it more cleverly, where he was what everyone expected, and then he snuck in acting. The Truman Show is what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Is that one there? He wound, like, at the end there, it's like, it hit hard. And it's like, okay, dude can act.
Which one are you talking about with Will Ferrell, though?
Ah, God, there was one. It was like...
Step Brothers is pretty good.
It was like someone was writing his life. And, like, narrating and dictating his life. I can't remember the name of the movie, but that one, he actually acted. And he acted well.
The only thing I've ever seen him in that I've ever liked him in was The Producers.
Oh,
that was good.
I love The Producers.
May's telling you to shut your judgy eyes at Ryan Reynolds, sir.
I mean, it's true. He plays Ryan Reynolds as the character. He doesn't play the character.
Well,
except when he's playing Deadpool. Then he's actually playing Deadpool.
he's not like at least he hasn't become like, when I watch a movie with Ryan Reynolds in it, I don't look at the screen and think, oh, that's Ryan Reynolds trying to act. But when I watch a movie with Nicolas Cage in it, all I can see is Nicolas Cage in a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do not see him getting into character. He is just Nicolas Cage.
Well, I mean, to an extent, that's kind of the same thing with, God damn it. I'm just having a night tonight with names. Freaking Neo.
Oh, Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, Keanu Reeves.
He did not, I mean, I'm sorry, but he is John Wick.
Yeah,
a friend of mine.
Yeah, but I mean, he's not a great actor as far as details, subtle emotions, subtleties, all that. But when it comes to action, there's nobody better.
No, there's not.
Just like...
when you say him, Begsy, a friend of mine met him at a bar once. He is John Wick. Like, off camera, he freaking is John Wick.
He's a badass. He's an awesome dude. Like, as far as like humanitarianism goes, he's one of the greatest.
You know, if I could have any celebrity on this podcast, I'd love to talk to him.
Oh God, yes.
Just because he's been through so freaking much, and look how good he still is.
And he met him right before they announced that he was in Cyberpunk. And he was wearing the sunglasses that he has in the game.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
And then they saw the ad, and he's like, oh my God! He was wearing the outfit!
Yeah, he probably was taking a break from a shoot.
Bar.
He probably was just taking a break from a shoot and getting ready to go back.
Right. With CG Project Red, yeah.
Yes, like, Cyberpunk, the game where everybody spends more time making a dick than they do actually playing the game.
Right.
Yeah.
In the PC version, yes.
Yes.
The console version does not have any customization options whatsoever. It's so dumb. Like, yeah, just body type 1, body type 2. It's like, okay, cool.
So, like, what else can you tell us about with your, like, what you've been through? I mean, has it continued beyond high school? Like, are you still...
Like, I mean, yes, some of the verbal stuff has continued. And like I said, in, like, the last, I don't know, 6 months to maybe a year, it's gotten a little better. You know, it's gotten to the point where, especially now that I'm, you know, dealing with this new illness ever since November, you know, diabetes, you know, it's kind of turned a corner. Knock on wood. But, you know, I'm constantly, not just with this, but just period in life, waiting constantly for the other shoe.
Well, I mean, how many shoes have already hit you? How many do you need? I don't know that.
Like,
I don't know that life is
centipedes?
is a shoe wearing spider.
You ever heard of centipedes?
Uh,
Yeah, centipede has entered the chat.
laughs in millipede.
Yeah.
And you are talking to the bug man right now. Loving the bugs. I'm actually admiring my Black Widow right now. Yes, I have a captive Black Widow in a terrarium.
Oh boy.
I can't wait till her egg sacs hatch.
She brought that one egg sac back in.
Did she?
Oh.
I fed her again. She's like ready to explode.
Ooh, fat happy spooter.
You know how expensive it would be if we were spiders and had to buy shoes? We wouldn't be buying a pair of shoes. We'd be buying an octet of shoes. And I have a hard enough time keeping track of 2 shoes.
I would not be
Yes.
able to keep track of all those shoes. I am not a shoe person. I would just be barefoot all the time. I would be the barefoot spider.
Yeah, my youngest cousin, he is a shoe snob. Has a closet completely filled with shoes.
He does?
Yeah, he.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, and
Not
he's
me.
he does like hydraulic lift repairs. You know, so it's not like he's got some cushy job. He works his ass off. You know, he's got some back-breaking labor. He's different. I love him. He's one of my. I've kind of adopted him as a brother because I mean the age difference between us is pretty massive. Considering his dad and I are only 7 years apart, and he's, you know, my uncle. May just said, Mr. W's oh boy about the Black Widow is the most relatable thing I've heard all week.
That's atypical for me, saying that that I'm relatable.
So far, I find it
That's
pretty
the other
relatable.
thing I've dealt with lately. I mean, it's gotten better since COVID, but man, whenever I'm going out to like the store or anything, I don't know what it is about me, but people just look at me like I got 3 heads. Or like I'm, you know, speaking in some weird language or something.
Maybe it's because you have that horn sticking out of your forehead? I don't know. I can't actually see Mr. W. He's got his camera off. And that's totally cool. So yeah, if you want to be a guest and you don't want to be seen, that's possible.
And I think, you know, my dad actually noticed it once. We were at, where were we? We were at, I can't remember if it was at the grocery store or at Walmart. But he noticed that there were these people staring at him too, because he was wearing this weird, like, Marvin the Martian t-shirt. So they were looking at that too, but...
Hey, Marvin the Martian's cool. Let's not bash on Marvin.
No, the Marvin the Martian part's cool, but it was a weird print. And because it's from like the early '90s, before I was born.
God, you just made me feel
Anyway,
old.
they're looking at us.
I know, really.
Mostly staring at me. And he's like, "Why are they staring at you? You're not doing anything weird." I'm like, "Exactly. That's what I've been telling you for years."
And May
You
just
noticed.
And May just said, people don't know how to people anymore. And I have to agree, COVID made people not people.
It
Yeah,
did.
ever since COVID, people don't stare at me much anymore. Boy, man, pre-COVID, it was bad.
Like for me, pre-COVID, I would be walking and I was always the person that always said hi to people. You know, hi, how's it going? Hey, what's up? Stuff like that. And I realized I hadn't done that since COVID. even once we're back out again, and it's like, I'm fully vaccinated, so I don't need a mask in most places. And I went ahead last night. I was like, I haven't said hi to anybody. Just said random like I used to. But I saw someone, I'm like, hi. And like, they just about shit themselves. It was like, this used to be the norm. And they just like almost stopped like I was trying to hold a conversation with them. I was like, no, I was just saying hi.
How that changes.
It's definitely different now.
The only reason why someone has stared at me like in the recent past is because I was wearing a cowhide print mask at a store.
That's actually pretty cool.
Seem to like it.
Nothing wrong with that.
People seem to like it because I was getting a lot of smiles for once. I was like, huh, so that's what this feels like. To have people just smiling at you from ear to ear. When they see you, it's like, wow, this is cool. I was just kind of raking it all in.
It's definitely a different feeling that takes a little bit of getting used to when suddenly, you've been put down for so long, and then suddenly you find people that will actually, give two shits about you and
exactly
want to hear your story and want to know what you're doing and talk to you every day, and it's an odd feeling.
And then, God, this was...
But eventually it becomes normal.
This was like right before COVID, I think. Like last February, I want to say. Yeah. I was at Walmart just picking up like some real basic provisions like, shampoo and Band-Aids. And I'm coming out of the shampoo aisle, and there's this lady and her two little kids. I mean, the oldest kid was maybe 6 or 7, if I had to guess. And the younger kid was, I don't know, 3, 4. And the younger kid, like, started to sort of, like, move towards me. I don't know if he was, like, specifically coming towards me or what. But within 5 seconds of that, Mom just reached out and just yanked the kid away from me and just stared at me the whole time as she's pulling away the kid. And I'm like, what the hell?
Do you give some kind of, like, serial killer vibe or something?
I must. I don't know.
I have a theory, but, I mean, honestly, it has nothing to do with you and the way you are, but with the way that other people are, because I've encountered it myself with my little brother. And I have had people literally jerk their children away from him. And I have very politely told them, ma'am, your children will not catch what my little brother has, but they will catch your ignorance if you don't freaking stop this behavior.
Exactly.
Nailed it. Oh, by the way, May, this is to you, or not May, this is to you, Bexy, from May. Oh, Bexy's Texas is strong today. # girl crush.
Aww.
Can't see the chat.
I mean,
as you can probably tell, I'm from the Midwest, so...
Welcome to the Midwest.
I have a feeling my accent's coming through, but who knows?
I've gotten to the point where I don't really notice accents unless I try. But I've worked on phones doing support stuff for over 20 years. It's just a thing now. I mean, I'll notice some accents. Like, if I hear a British accent, I'm like, ah! I hear an Irish accent, I get totally goo-goo over it. If I hear an Australian accent, oh, dear God. Yeah, there's a few accents out there that I just hear it, and I'm like, just keep talking. Here's an alphabet. Read it out loud. Here's a phone
Scottish
book.
accents, Irish accents, Australian accents. You can read to me in those accents, and I'll be perfectly fine. Read the phone book. I don't care.
All right, Mason, did you pick up the accent? She's saying that my ear twitches like a fox at the slightest accent.
Yeah. I mean, my voice is fairly, subtle, but there are people who live around me who just have the strongest Midwestern or like Chicago accents you'll ever hear.
Dang, Chicago.
Yeah, go on there.
That's one accent I've never actually gotten really good at doing. I haven't heard it enough.
No, most people from Chicago don't have it, but there are some. Oh my God!
Like I went to New York for a week, and it's not that New York accent that you always hear about. It's not as prevalent as you would think. But the people that have it, oh man, do they have it.
The Boston accent always kills me. I have a friend who has a very strong Boston accent.
And they're chowder.
Oh, God.
Hawk in the con, Harvard Yard. Yeah.
Pretty much. I actually made him say that for me. I was like, do it. You know you have to do it.
Do it. Say the line, Bart.
Say the line, Bart. Taxes are theft. I know that's not the same line, but yeah.
Or like that D&D meme. Say the line, Bard. Or say the line, Wizard. Eldritch Blast.
Right. Witch Bolt.
Yeah, but I guess the most recent thing that's really hit me for a loop is just finding out that I was diabetic. Finding out the hard way that I was diabetic.
Oh, my goodness.
In the hospital?
Yes.
Yes.
5 days.
Ooh.
In intensive.
Diabetic ketoacidosis,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a phrase that everybody wants to have told about
So
them.
Oh, yeah.
To quote Ralph, I almost died.
Then you hear that you have diabetes. I am in danger.
I could barely stay awake. The morning before that I was in, and my parents thought that I had mono because my mom had this crippling case of mono when she was in college, so she knows the signs anywhere. And they took me to the doctor, and they did a blood sugar test on me, and the doctor's like, "Yeah, no, you're going into DKA. You need to get to the hospital like yesterday."
Yeah, that shit will kill you.
I was there for 5 days, almost to the hour.
Damn, that's a
Wow.
long time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got to the hospital Tuesday night, and I got out. No, wait. Yeah, we got in Tuesday night. I got out Saturday night. Back in November. And it was a week before Thanksgiving. So, that was a fun time of year to be in the hospital. All the Christmas shows on TV and everything. I started to put the Christmas decorations up in the hospital, and
Yeah, and meanwhile, May say that Tommy, her husband, and her can relate to this. Yeah, Tommy discovered that he was diabetic the hard way too. Tommy and May are the porch drunkies. They were a special guest a few weeks back.
they
Yeah, I had an uncle that discovered he was diabetic the hard way too.
They told me my case was pretty miraculous, that I was only there for 5 days.
Only.
Yeah, only.
Only.
And my sugar levels were not insanely high. My A1C was. My A1C was almost off the charts, but my sugar levels were high, but not like, insane. And that's what surprised them was, I was only at, right around 400 when I got into the emergency room. And they're like, wow, usually we get people coming in here with 600s or 700s. Yeah, yours is still high. We're still worried, but it's like, wow, this is a pretty, low-end case of this condition.
Yeah, actually, you're just you may be saying that that's the same as with Tommy, like same with the exclamation points. And they've coined the 5th of November as the blood sugar treason and plot. Remember the 5th of November of blood sugar treason and plot. I can see no reason the blood sugar treason should ever be forgot.
Yeah, it was the 17th to the 21st.
I will be remembering November for a different reason. That was the month of COVID.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now May's asking, what's your A1C?
Now it's down to 5.3.
That's a lot better.
Oh my
That's
God,
excellent.
yeah. When we found that out, my mom and I went to the appointment. When we found that out, we were floored.
There's a reason why they call diabetes the silent killer.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still on insulin. I'm still doing all that, but ooh. I know where I was, and now I know where. Now I got to manage it and not wind up back there.
Yeah, I've never been there. I don't want to go there. I've seen family members go there. I've seen friends go there. I don't want to go there.
Don't go there.
No, you do not.
My A1C is a lot better now.
Good.
Good.
Yeah, mine's at 5.5.
Not bad.
Oh, she's asking, what was your A1C when you found out you were diabetic?
It was like 13.
That's up there.
It was insane. I don't remember exactly, but it was right around 13. And they were.
Yeah, I think.
I remember one of the very few things I remember from that first night was they were taking me down to the basement of the hospital to do a CT on my lungs to make sure I didn't have COVID. Because it was going to take too long to get the test back before I had to get into intensive. And I didn't have COVID, thankfully. But I remember I was sitting there in the elevator on the stretcher, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm looking at this nurse who's standing next to me. And this nurse is barely older than me. I'm in my mid-20s. And this nurse is maybe 30. And two thoughts are running parallel in my head right now at that moment. One, what's this kid doing here? Working with me, this late at night.
Well, I mean, you could get your degree in nursing while you're still in your early 20s. So
yeah, but I'm thinking, what's this kid doing working with me this late at night? And two, how accurate is his watch?
Well, one thing I could say is that when you're a younger nurse, you could do those late night shifts a lot easier than when you're older.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I'm just thinking, man, he better have an accurate watch, just in case he's got to mark anything down.
Yeah, actually, that's part of what the training is that you have to get yourself a quality watch.
Yeah. Just in case he has to do any paperwork. If you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
I was that close. I'm thinking, God damn it, I'm going to die in a hospital basement. Great.
Well, that means you're right next to the morgue, so, I mean...
I'm like, damn it, this is not how I wanted to die.
Quick trip.
I came into this world naked, screaming, and covered in somebody's blood, and I plan on going out that way.
Jesus.
Oh my god.
You've killed him.
That is good.
Yeah, the other one I love doing is I want to leave this world the way that my grandfather did, peacefully in his sleep, not screaming in terror like his passengers.
Oh. Ew.
Oh, goodness.
That actually happened to an old neighbor of mine. You didn't have anyone else in the car, but he died of a heart attack while driving.
Ooh.
Yeah, thankfully he was on residential streets, so he wasn't going very fast, but
Still.
he was right in the corner from his house, actually. His car wound up crashing into a stop sign.
Still, I've heard of stories about, like, just in my neck of the woods, someone dying of a heart attack on the freeway.
Oh, God!
Yeah, and the accidents that they could cause because, well, I mean...
You're going 70 miles an hour?
Yeah, at that point, it really is Jesus take the wheel because you sure aren't.
You're dead.
Yeah. You're gone. You're not going to feel a thing. You're done.
Yeah.
But everybody else around you, that's a different story.
Yeah. What happened was he died, he slumped over the wheel, car hopped the curb, came to rest against a stop sign. That's where they found him.
Not the worst way to go. Especially if you die in a car or driving. Not the worst way to go.
Yeah. We found out about it the next day. We already moved away by this point. And, we were kind of close with the guy because he lived next door to us, but I wouldn't say we were exactly friends with the guy, but we still went to his funeral. He's our next door neighbor.
Right.
Yeah.
Ariel said there's a lot of young radiologists, and they also said at least you won't have to pay the car insurance after that.
Yeah, I think it's like...
Car accident, like been in a few.
I think it falls under acts of God.
I've been... Well, the one was partly my fault. I hit a patch of black ice and crashed into a garbage truck.
Ooh, well, I mean...
I just know that before garbage day.
And what I find funny is that people that have never lived in snow country, they hear of black ice, but they really don't know what it is. Like, they truly don't know.
No, they don't.
No, they don't.
That shit's the devil.
Yeah, it was...
It's more devil than the football.
Yeah, it's
The
like...
foosball.
Yeah, like...
You always get snow.
But they're like, but ice is shiny. And it's like, yeah, and so is a wet road. And when you have a wet road with a patch of black ice, you don't see the difference. The difference isn't there until you go to turn, and you're like, oh shit, I can't turn. I'm going straight.
It was partly the truck's fault, because he was out in the street. He wasn't at the curb, but he was stopped. So, it's partly his fault that I ran into him. He's parked right in front of this patch of black ice, out in the street.
I mean, again, black ice, there's... I mean, like, I don't think the insurance would really have too much of a problem. It's like, okay, you did try to stop, but you hit black ice.
Yeah, they even admitted that. Like, at first they thought it was, like, malicious intent or something, that I, like, actually crashed into it. And then they realized, oh, wait, there's black ice on the road. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, when I tried to walk out of the car and I slipped and fell and hit my ass and broke my tailbone, yeah, there's black ice.
Yeah. And I remember I'm sitting there in the car, recovering from the accident, realizing that I'm still okay and alive, and the garbage man walks up to my window and is like, don't worry, the cops are coming. And I'm like, okay.
Okay, I'd rather have an ambulance.
I was fine. I wasn't injured.
Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't going all that fast. But, yeah, my car was totally wrecked. Completely totaled.
And yes, we're
Because
saying...
it went, underneath the crash bar.
Ooh.
Back of the truck, like up at the hood.
Ooh.
The airbags never deployed, by the way.
Airbags didn't deploy.
Yeah,
Got a
the windshield.
I was going to say, airbags didn't deploy. Got a transmission in my lap, but, whatever.
they didn't have to because it only got like halfway up the hood.
Yeah. And Ariel said black ice sucks, and we're saying black ice just because it's so similar to something else.
Right. Remember, I
got a face palm by Bexy.
And next thing I know, 2 cop cars roll up, and these 2 cops are polar opposites. They're both men, but otherwise they are polar opposites. The one is 100% Murtaugh. I'm talking 2 weeks from retirement. If that. Real old guy.
Nice.
Like, why are you, like, dude? Why are you still on the force? You should be like, happily retired down in Florida. Living off your pension.
It's like Lethal Weapon. I'm only 2 weeks away from retirement, or whatever it was
That's
that
what
he
I'm
kept
saying.
complaining about.
That's what I'm saying.
Shit.
Meanwhile, Kat was saying anything versus trash truck equals trash truck for the win, and I'm like, laughs in freight train.
And the other guy is fresh out of the academy. Probably younger than me. I mean, willing to bet at most he's my age.
Okay, so my clarification on the black ice was actually not such a bad thing, because Kat was like, I know, first time I heard Mr. W say black ice, I didn't hear that. Meanwhile, there's going to be someone out there repeating black ice over and over again going, I don't understand. What's so wrong with that?
I mean, this dude, this dude looks like a Ken doll. Like Officer Ken.
Oh, God.
Chiseled jaw, blonde hair, tan skin. Pretty rare where I'm from. And he's the one who comes to my window. The old guy's out directing traffic.
Probably because he still knows how from back when he did it when he first joined the force. Because,
Right.
he's been around that long.
Right. So I get out of the car, I'm walking to the sidewalk, and I slipped on the ice. And the cop throws his arm around and grabs me. And unfortunately, because his arm was positioned, he kind of knocked the wind out of me.
Now, Kat's asking if his name was really Ken.
Because his arm went straight into my belly. I'm just like, oh. He's like, dude, you okay? I'm like, yeah. You just caught me weird.
Yeah, but guess what's going in the police report? Yeah.
Right.
If you can't walk on it, you can't drive on it. That's really how it goes.
Right. Oh, and my car at the time, Toyota Corolla.
I had a Corolla once. It was this little Corolla station wagon.
2013.
Mine was a 98.
Oh.
Wait, sorry, no, an 89. An 89.
Oh my god.
Yeah. But I tell you
Those
what,
were still rear drive, weren't they?
that thing was fun. I called it a glorified go-kart.
They are. My 13 was a go-kart.
Yeah, but I mean, that's all the Corollas are. The Corolla Sports, my God, they're fun to drive. Because they're a freaking go-kart.
Mine was not a sport, unfortunately. Mine was an LE, but,
I really wanted to get the Toyota MR2. That is a damn go-kart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, know a guy in town who drives one. He's not selling it, but...
Yeah, I wouldn't sell it either, because they haven't made those for how long? Decades?
Just over, like 15 years?
Something like that. No, they stopped making them when I still lived in San Diego. And I left San Diego in 2006.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, 2006. Yeah, that's 15 years. Really?
Yeah, I remember. So, then I'm sitting, now, right before I got out of the car, I called the house, and Mom answered the phone. She was just leaving to go to her job. And I'm like, yeah, I crashed into a trash truck. She's like, oh my God, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. The car's fucked, but I'm fine. And I was like, don't worry, Dad's coming. So I'm standing there, ankle deep in the snow, waiting for Dad. And out of the corner of my eye, I see his Buick coming around the corner. And I'm like, okay, now it's going to get fun.
Oh.
Because I had totaled, well, it technically wasn't my car. It was registered to my mom. But I used to drive Mom's old minivan. And I totaled that. That accident was not my fault at all.
Sometimes accidents are literally just that, accidents.
No, it was the other guy's fault.
Sometimes.
It was the other guy's fault.
One thing that I could highly recommend, and it's a really, really good idea, is to get a pair of dash cams, one in the front and one in the back. Because, tell you what, those people that get out in front of you and then brake check in the hopes that you rear end them? Yeah.
Yes.
You have video evidence that they did that. Insurance is going to take one look at that and go, right, rear-ended, okay.
Okay. I'm actually sitting here next to one of my brother's old high school speech trophies. Okay, technically it's the team's trophy. It's not just his, but when the seniors graduate, they let them take home one of the team trophies. So...
Nice.
So his team trophy is sitting here on the middle.
So I gotta ask, were you involved in the senior prank?
Not personally, but I know a lot of people who were.
What was the prank, if you don't mind my asking? I'm curious.
Silly string.
Oh.
That would
That's
be fun.
of silly string.
That would be fun.
All over the lockers.
One of the senior pranks in my high school, we had double doors in the front with a pin that held the little middle bar in the middle on the frame. So they opened the double doors, removed the pin, removed the middle thing, and pushed the physical science and chemistry science teacher's car into the hallway and then let it idle.
What?
Honked the horn and left after they replaced the pin and everything.
What?
Wow.
Another one, the senior prank, was that the football team, the varsity team, got together and they put a Volkswagen Beetle onto the foyer for the gymnasium, and it was like the English teacher's Volkswagen Bug.
Jeez.
Yeah, you could say there were some pretty big guys. I mean, high school seniors, 18
The
years
Volkswagen
old.
Beetle's not that heavy.
Right. They're not that heavy, but seniors in high school aren't usually all that big, either, say, compared to NFL players. But they're also 18 and are fueled 100% by testosterone.
Right.
And in this case, some sort of uppers, too, because, well, it was the 70s when they did that one.
Yeah, my senior year was 2012, 2013, so...
Yeah, there was one that I heard about that was... I don't even know what our senior class did. Our senior class was... The class I was in was the most apathetic class that you'll ever have known. Freshman year, we came in dead last in homecoming. Sophomore year, dead last at homecoming. Junior year, dead last at homecoming. Senior year, well, we stomped the crap out of everyone because we were the seniors, but we didn't do shit for anything else. But one that I heard of that was pretty funny is that the seniors got together and hired a mariachi band to follow the principal around for 6 hours.
Oh, jeez!
Jeez.
And the principal loved it so much, he actually did a tour of the school, going to every class to show off the mariachi
With the mariachis.
band. Yeah. That is a good prank. That's
So
one of those,
cool.
That is one of those wholesome pranks that's slightly irritating. It's like, that is the epitome of a senior prank. Harmless, but funny as hell.
Yeah, I'll never forget, though. We came to school Monday morning, and there is just buckets of silly string over all of the lockers. Every single locker in the entire building. Just covered in silly string.
Yeah, but you know how fast, how easy it is to clean up? All he needs is a lighter. Light one side, light the other side. 10 seconds later, it's all gone. Yeah, just a big fireball down. But I mean, all your posters are screwed. I mean, your paint might be singed, but the building's not going to catch on fire because it goes too fast. All right, so May was saying we had one way in and out of our parking lot. A trailer was lifted to block the way out during the ceremony. That was their senior prank. I wanted to do just plain clear gelatin and pour it into all the restrooms, like all the toilets.
Oh, God.
That's the prank I wanted to do.
Yeah, the senior year before me, they tried... I can't remember exactly what it was. They were trying to do something to the football field, but it failed.
My oldest kid, his senior prank, they all brought a roll of quarters, and they all brought, like, epoxy, and epoxied all the quarters all over the hallways and the walkways throughout the school. They are still there. He's coming up on 10 years since he graduated pretty soon, and they're still there.
Quarters.
Wow.
Yeah. That
is a very expensive prank.
Yeah, there's probably about over $1,000 worth of quarters all over the school.
But, I don't know if they're still legal tender, though, because they've been glued.
Yeah, well, freaking epoxied. I mean, they are stuck. Like, you pretty much have to bring a jackhammer to get them out.
Destroy the entire school just to get $1,000 worth of quarters.
Good news, we got $1,000 worth of quarters. Bad news, we got about $30,000 worth of damage.
But we got the quarters.
Another one I thought would be really funny is to go out and steal every single real estate sign in the entire city limits, and then put them all in the high school football field, the front yard, everywhere that you can, and then get one of those giant inflatable gorillas up on the roof.
Oh, now I just remembered my freshman year, the seniors, they put just tons. I don't even know where they got them. Just tons of rubber chickens everywhere. Like in people's lockers, in cabinets. They hid one in. They hid a couple in toilets. They had them in little alcoves here and there. People were finding these things for a week.
Nice. Okay.
They tried to shove one up a sink, but it wouldn't fit. So it just sat there in the sink, in the basin of the sink.
They should have put them on the exhaust pipes of all the buses.
Oh, God.
Projectile chickens.
Yeah, we had a huge, freak snowstorm my sophomore year. Not in May, sadly, it was in March. But we had no school for an entire week, and that was you only average 1 or 2 snow days a year out here. So,
I know all about snow days. I can't even tell you that any time that we actually had a snow day, and there were times that you'd wake up and there's 4 feet of fresh snow, and our principal was like, we're open.
I got here.
Exactly. It's dude, there are some people that live truly in the boonies. My town was pretty much in the boonies, and these people are in the boonies of the boonies. They were, no.
Yeah, one of those snow days was because the buses wouldn't start. Most people in my high school took buses, so...
Kat was saying, mine was too long ago, have no memory of whatever it was, 47 years ago. And this is one of the things I love about our listeners. May, I freaking love you, Kat. The more I find out about you, the more I fall in love. 3 heart emojis sincerely.
Aww.
I have an idea of what they did with a
So
Cat senior
sweet.
prank. They changed the hieroglyphics on the walls. I'm sorry, Kat. I'm sorry.
What?
Bexy's trying not to laugh out loud right now. Bexy's dying right now, trying not to laugh.
Yeah, this wasn't like a prank or anything, but one of the big trends in my senior class, I don't know why we did this, and even I did this. I wasn't in on any of this stuff. But we all put pink duct tape stripes on the straps of our backpacks. I have no idea why. But everybody did that. My senior year.
There was a guest.
I have no idea.
So Betsy finally got her composure again. She was dying. She was laughing so hard. Man, I absolutely do respect Kat. I love Kat to death. But every once in a while, I gotta throw a zinger out there. And even Kat admitted it's really difficult with those chisels. Bexy's biting her thumb, trying not to laugh again.
Kat, I love you.
God damn it! There was something I was going to say. Now I don't remember what it was. Oh, I think what we had one of the guests. I know that I know about this prank that happened. And I didn't know it at the time, and I think one of our guests talked about it. Where the art class, they all had their art folders, and they all got it to where they drew out a little bit of a image on each folder, so they all looked individual. They didn't look anything suspicious. But at the end of the year, when you laid them all out in the right order, the right way, they made a gigantic dick.
Of course.
Of course, a huge dick.
Yeah, and these are your art students. So they had this gigantic dick that went across all of their folders, but because each person had just a small portion of it, they all decorated it their own way, but the dick was there.
Yeah, I don't think my class could have coordinated something like that.
My school,
Teamwork.
My school was very tiny. Stuff like that was not hard to do.
Someone walked a dick into the snow in the football field that same snow day winter.
Well, I mean, there was one of the very first lunar landers, I think it was Curiosity, landed, and the first thing it freaking did is it drew a dick in the Martian soil.
Of course. But yeah, someone actually walked over to the football field, because there's houses right behind the high school,
Right?
and just walked a dick in the football field and then walked away.
I always wanted to do what Calvin did.
It made the school paper.
Oh, that's funny.
It made the front page of the school paper. It was pixelated, unfortunately, but
Okay, so there's this person I've been wanting to try to get a hold of. They got their Twitter account banned a long time ago, and at one point I was in contact with them, but I don't know how to get a hold of them now. They actually made national news because when they turned 18, while they were still going to high school in a city just south of me, they decided that they were going to move out of their parents' house because they didn't want to be there anymore. They got their own apartment, and they were able to pay for all their utilities, food, rent, and everything, and go to high school because she was shooting porn on the side. 18-year-old, barely legal porn, that's a very popular niche. And she got paid really good money for it. And the journalism instructor at the school, who's actually responsible for a lot of some of the best journalists in this like Central California area and nearby and around us, was so fascinated by the story that he wanted to have one of his students for his journalism class go and do an interview with her and put it in the school paper. The uproar got national attention. It was such a fight because he had the Puritan parents going, we don't want our kids knowing how to do porn, blah, 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 blah. And then you had the other ones going, look, this is what she's actually doing. She got out of a bad situation. She's doing something that she enjoys doing. She's getting paid good money for it just to get out of school. And she has no plans of continuing once she gets into college. If she gets a scholarship and has like housing taken care of. Otherwise, guess what? She's going to do it through college too. It's a means to an end. It's not a career.
Like OnlyFans.
Yeah, yeah, but, with real producers.
Right.
And I've, like, fully supported this person because...
They're pros.
Yeah, and this person was, like, one of the most humble and cool people. She was never secretive about it. She was very open about it. And nobody had a problem with it at school. Like, everybody at school knew. But the moment they tried to put it into print, it became a problem. And it was such a fiasco and caused so much problems. And, like, the school board finally just shut it down and said, no, this is not happening. That the journalism instructor, who'd been there for, like, 30 years, quit. He's like, okay, I retire. I'm done. If you won't let this story get published in our school paper, then I'm done. You've lost what it means to be a journalist. And you've lost what it means for journalism to survive.
Right. Exactly.
Either it's all okay or nothing is okay.
Right. And right now in the chat room, I'm seeing, like, Kat, who decided that was a good idea. May, I don't want my kids' teachers telling them they could make it in porn. And Kat, I know, really? And May, is that wrong? And no, the teacher wasn't saying you can make it in porn. He was just saying this is a great human interest story. This is the kind of stuff that should be talked about. This is something that happens. It happens more than we want to talk about.
And our friends, actually.
Yeah, it's like, I know people that if they could have got...
side job, but...
Yeah, I was like, I knew people in high school that if we had the internet back then, in the early 90s, it really was just kind of an idea at the time. Yeah, there's some people that absolutely would have done that. Instead, they were just, they were very free with themselves. I'll just put it that way. But no, the teacher wasn't trying to make an argument that you can make it in porn and not trying to say to be against it. Let's just do adjust the facts thing and let people make up their own minds. Because even the girl was like, look, this is not for everybody. This is not an easy thing to do. You have to have the right kind of personality to be able to do this and not get destroyed by it. She's like, this is not for everyone. But it happens to work for me. I thought it was a great story. I would love to get that person on as a guest, just so we could, post-mortem it, because it's been 7-8 years. It's been about 7 or 8 years now. Of course, it's easier for women to make it in porn than men. Unless the men were willing to play catcher. Those men get made a lot. They make a lot of money.
Apparently, the original Red Power Ranger did that for a while.
Really?
Yeah, like right after Power Rangers, he did gay porn.
Screech from Saved by the Bell went into porn.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Dustin
Well,
Diamond. Yeah, he died. But
Yeah.
He did porn for a while.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Like, is there a
That is
market
not
for
one I wanna
Screech
see.
porn? Because I can't see that man as anything but Screech.
Right. And I was like, out of all of the ones that could have gone into porn, that was the
Was any of his
least
stuff,
likely.
was any of his stuff of that high school type of genre? Like,
I
schoolgirl type
didn't-
of genre?
I didn't watch any of it. Screech is like the last person on the planet I want to see naked.
Right.
Meanwhile, the little bit, what was her name on that show? The one that dated AC Slater on Saved by the Bell, the little Miss Prissy, tall, blonde girl. She goes and does Showgirls, the first high-budget blockbuster.
Yeah,
NC-17.
Elizabeth Berkley.
Yeah. And that movie was a flop. I thought it was all right. I watched it because, I was a kid. I just turned 18. It was available. I'll watch it. I thought it was all right. I mean, it was not a good movie. But for what they were trying to do, it wasn't a half-bad attempt.
I feel ancient. The movie came out forever ago.
Yeah. And there's Kat again. Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you, Kat, at all. There's always going to be people, quote, free with themselves, end quote. Doesn't mean it's a good idea to advertise it. No, I fully agree. but I'm also very much a to each their own. I may disagree with it. I'm not going to call you out for it.
Right.
I might laugh if it blows up in your face. And if I know you, I might make sure that you're okay after it blows up in your face. And then once you're okay, laugh.
Like real friends do.
Ariel,
Right.
new meaning to screech.
Oh, God. Oh, you did not just go there.
Oh, yes. That's Ariel.
yeah.
I love you, Ariel.
Oh, God.
Oh my God, I love her too.
See, I love your hair.
Thank
I
you.
know.
I love it.
I know. I just
too.
keep
I love
looking.
it so
I
much.
keep looking at them, and they're just all fluffing it and
Playing with
I
it.
love it.
Yes. Thank you.
I think one of the things that got me clowned the most back in high school was because I'm such an old soul. And everyone was so, like, trying to be with it, you know? Like, you know that stuff was cool back then. Meanwhile, I'm here, you know, still dressing kind of conservatively, still, you know, listening to classic rock and, you know, old music. And a lot of my acquaintances in high school were faculty, not students. So
It pains me to know that what you think of as classic rock was the music of my youth.
oh yeah, like 1970s stuff. Yeah.
Oh, no, I consider that classic myself.
No, that's classic. I thought you were talking more stuff from like the 80s and
I mean,
early
yeah, I listened
90s.
to that too, but
because that's my childhood right there, and I'm just like, it's not classic yet.
I like
Damn
80s
it, I'm
music,
not that
too.
old.
Yeah.
And then I look at myself and I realize I am that old.
Yeah, then there was a radio station that kicked off here in our area. It doesn't exist anymore. But they did pop off, and they were like, that's the new classics. It's all 90s. But it wasn't even the good part of the 90s. I was like, you know, the 90s was so varied in sound. Like, so much variety. And
It really
boy bands.
was, and so many people think that the 90s sound comes down to Pearl Jam, Nirvana, and Bush.
they didn't even play any of that.
And
it's
that's just one aspect of it. I mean,
Right.
there was
Yeah.
so much good music.
Do you know how
grunge,
many...
boy
you know-
bands, you know,
You can only listen to the song Hot Stepper so many times before you want to blow your brains out. I'm just saying.
right.
I try to avoid that song because it just
That was one of their heavy rotation songs. That was the kind of stuff that they played from the 90s, which really was a very, very narrow segment. I was like, you guys need to do like the hour of angst, where it's an hour of like Nine Inch Nails, Marilyn
Grunge.
Manson, Ministry, Jesus and Chainsaw Mary.
Slayer.
Yeah, there you go. Slayer, Font 242, Die Warzau, you know, KMFDM, like the really
What?
angry stuff. Just for an hour.
One of my acquaintances in college almost got the Slayer logo as a tattoo. They didn't do it. They didn't wind up doing it, but they almost did.
Man, I never considered doing a tattoo of a band or something that I like. If I were to, I'd probably have done Nine Inch Nails logo, but
Yes.
even then, it's like,
I
no,
don't
actually,
even like that kind of music, but yeah, Nine Inch Nails. Oh yeah.
like Nine Inch Nails is my favorite band, like hands down, it's my favorite. But there's been a few albums that have come out that I've just been like, no. Where there's one band that every album I've never done that to, but it's not like my favorite band. It's just, but I like them, is Tool. Ah, there we go. May just throw a few. 7 Mary 3, Candlebox, Nin, Tool, Anthrax, Green Jelly. Little pig, let me in. Not by the hair of my chin. You also need
There were some great bands in like the early 2000s. Like, okay, I'm a gamer, so you know, coming from like the old NASCAR games, some of those bands,
Oh God,
we're
yes.
talking Power Man 5000, Rancid,
Yes.
Adam Ship.
Yes. Like This is what it's like when worlds collide.
Pencil fight is my jam.
Yeah, there was more than 90s grunge. Yeah, I mean, there was also Faith No More. They were one of the pioneers of what the 90s became for music. Don't forget, Metallica. Huge in the 90s.
Old Metallica, yes.
Soundgarden started in the 90s. They were huge. Yeah, okay, they were grunge, but they were a different vein of grunge. I mean, there was so much good music. And technically, if you really want to get technical, Godsmack and even Disturbed, very tail end of the 90s.
Yeah,
Very
99.
tail end. Yeah,
Disturbed was
98, 99, yeah. Like, they just barely eked their way in. But damn, did they come in with the fury.
Yeah, Disturbed is from my area, so well, the Chicago area. So.
Yep. I'm familiar.
3 of the members knew each other in high school.
Yeah, so
They're drummers from somewhere else, but
to give you an idea of where I'm at, my ex-sister-in-law went to school with basically the entire band of Tesla.
my mom went to middle school with Ted Nugent's sister.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, Ted Nugent lived right around the corner from her. And was still playing in the garage.
Yep. And Ariel's meanwhile, I was listening to NSYNC a lot.
Oh, man.
Yeah, there's Backstreet Boys, NSYNC. Even though they started a little bit before, they were still really popular during was New Kids on the Block in the early 90s. You had Boyz II Men, Belle Biv DeVoe.
Yes. Oh, my God.
You had another Bad Creation.
My mom has 3 of Boyz II Men's albums.
Yep.
On CD upstairs.
There were so many. 98 Degrees. I mean, they were probably the least of the boy bands, but they still had their hits.
There are other ones. There are other ones. There was O-Town. There was CB Mac. There was...
Okay, but I'm the casual non-boy band person. I've never heard of these.
Guilty pleasure music. I know it all.
Now, there was also Celebrity Deathmatch on MTV.
Oh, my God.
I loved Blink-182 versus 98 Degrees. That was amazing.
Oh, my God.
Oh, don't forget, Michael Jackson was still the king through the 90s.
Yeah. And then...
I mean, that was pretty much the end of Michael Jackson, but still, there was no denying that he was still coming out with just absolute amazing stuff. Scream, absolutely fantastic. Only song he ever did with Janet, which I found really odd, considering they were the only 2 that really had any talent. Sorry, LaToya. I'm really sorry, but you have no talent. Like, sorry.
She's pretty, but she doesn't have talent.
Yeah.
Thanks for the grub. Yay, God. No.
That was
Sorry.
a great episode. Oh, that was the best episode, man. Like how LaToya Jackson decided Jesse Jackson to show up at the negotiations. It's like, really? How low is your budget?
Wow, so people keep commenting and then deleting. Because they had something going in there about a rotation of boy bands and they just went, boop, gone. Oh, God, that's right. Smash Mouth.
Oh, wow, yes.
Oh, now I'm having Shrek flashbacks. Damn it. Oh, jeez. Yeah, that song was not written for Shrek.
No. And, of course,
A lot of people think it was.
there was the Proclaimers and that song that still makes me want to pierce my eardrum so I don't have to hear it ever again.
I know that song. I will refrain from that song.
Well, Kat was saying my mom and dad went to school with one of the 4 preps. Song 26 Miles, Santa Catalina. Keep telling y'all I'm that old. Thanks, Ariel. Might as well keep walking on the sun. You know that song is about masturbation.
That was Captain Jack. What about it?
Yeah.
Lots of songs are about things that people don't realize that they're about.
The Toadies, Possum
yeah.
Kingdom. That's my favorite
It
one.
Yes.
It took me only a couple of listens when I was a little kid to realize that Billy Joel song, Captain Jack, is about masturbation. I was like 7 when I realized it. I'm like, wait a sec.
Yeah, then there's Blister in the Sun by the Violet Femmes. That's also, yeah. And now Ariel's going, I love Delias. Well, thanks for ruining that song. Might Bring It On and 10 Things, yeah. So, I know I've talked about it before, but the Toadies, Possum Kingdom, it's a guy asking a lady to allow him to kill her or let her commit suicide so that way he can embalm her and keep her preserved and sleep with her that way forever. Necrophilia.
What?
The song's about necrophilia. Like, really listen to the lyrics.
You know, that actually happened.
You can't see this, but I'm cringing.
Oh, yeah, it's... now it's like I see, like, if you can still play that song in any bar, and you'll get people singing along to the, do you want to die? And I'm like, do you even know what you're singing about right now? Like, any clue?
Do you?
Plot twist, they do.
Well,
Oh,
how many
God.
people? How many
See?
people belt out? How many people
Careless
belt
Whisper.
out "Lust for Life" and don't realize it's about cocaine use?
You know, Hotel
How many people
California
dance
could be
along
about
Careless
Cocaine.
Whisper and don't realize what it's about.
That's a good one. That's a good one. But yeah, no, Hotel California, there's still a lot of theories about what it's about. And I had an uncle that said the best thing he could think of is it's about cocaine addiction. Because you stab the knife,
Drug addiction.
you stab the beast with your steely knives, but you can't kill the beast. And about mirrors on the ceiling. Like, all the stuff is about, and then, like high energy, somewhat mellow, but high energy. You can always check out, but you can never leave. Yeah, that's addiction. You can always stop the drug, but you can never leave addiction. Girls just want to have
I always
fun.
thought it was just about life in general. You
Sheba,
spend any time in life, you don't live.
tell me that's not about masturbation. Come on now.
Oh, girls just don't want to have fun.
No, I'm talking about the other one, the Cyndi Lauper, Sheba.
I don't remember that one.
Oh my gosh.
Are you talking about Possum Kingdom? You think that was all about death? Yeah, we can't play the song because I don't want to get hit with copyright stuff.
Right?
Now, Ariel's asking if we remember, I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie
yeah.
world.
Barbie world. Yep.
Aqua.
Oh, jeez. One of my classmates in high school tried to get into American Idol singing that song.
That is like one of the last songs you should try for American Idol.
It did not work.
No.
Obviously.
As I can imagine.
I bet
this
they
friend-
didn't even get to go see the
this
actual
classmate?
judges.
This classmate, male,
Oh Lord.
gay, very, very
Yeah.
openly gay.
And I mean, there are some times where poaching the song from the other sex works. I've heard quite a few that actually work really well, where guys singing a song that was originally done by girls and the other way around. Sometimes it really works, but Barbie Girl? Yeah.
Yeah,
no.
this guy was.
That's like when Leah took on WAP, from Cardi B, the wet ass pussy.
No.
No, sorry, Leo, but I cringe. I mean, obviously, the song works better as metal. Like, it really, really does. But no. On those lyrics, just no. Just
Right.
no.
I mean, I
This
love
guy-
Leo.
To this day,
I think he's
I
a
haven't seen this
freaking
guy in 8
genius.
years, but he is the most openly gay person I've ever met. Like, flamboyantly.
Okay, so Arrow's
Oh my
talking
God,
about Hotel
why?
California, not about death. That's actually not a bad way to look at it either. I love the old guy who's saying, let the bodies hit the floor. He did a fantastic job. Yeah, he did, actually. The older guy who sang Bodies for American Idol.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
It's like, he didn't have the voice to do it, but he had the presence. And he had he had that gravitas to where he actually did a good job. Wow, we've completely derailed on this.
Yes.
I don't mind
And
it.
it happened.
All right, so
Back to the story. I don't even know we've derailed for so long. I've lost where we were.
so
I'm not even sure where we were.
how about I got a question for you.
Hmm?
To this day, what is your relationship like with your mother, the adopted mother?
It's complicated. I love her to death, but you know, it's hard to tell her stuff, especially negative stuff. But even some positive stuff, it's hard to tell her.
I mean,
I don't know how she's going to react to it.
I can imagine, with the
He's
whole you need someone to
recently-
beat the shit out of you attitude.
Not to the point
It's like
where
you don't know whether you're going to get the supportive mother or the mother who is going to mentally berate you.
exactly.
You don't know what to share. And I mean, I've
Mhm.
been in that situation myself, which is one of those things. It's like you don't know what to share to these people. And then they will get upset with you, and say, "Oh, you never tell me anything."
Mhm.
I don't know what I can tell you without you making me feel like I'm less than nothing.
It's like, let me
Exactly.
just put it this way. I fear the coat hanger scene from Mother Dearest type
It
mom.
wasn't quite that bad, but it was. It's not that bad, but. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
I once referred to her as Mommy Dearest to a friend. Referred to her as Mommy Dearest to a friend.
Ooh.
yeah.
Not
I've
within
had a
earshot of
couple-
her.
I've had a couple mommy dearest moments.
Bexy's having pain.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was one of the things I was nervous about because thankfully she's not home right now. We would not be having this conversation
You're like,
if she was.
like, so did you have any Mommy Dearest moments with your mother? Hold up! Let me check. Okay, I don't think she's here, so, yes.
Well, one or two. She wasn't freaking out about something that trivial, but
I mean, I once had my mother get mad at me, and this is what I consider a mommy dearest moment, for making her breakfast on Mother's Day.
The hell?
Wow.
what?
Yeah, she picked up a broom and smacked me in the face with it several times for that.
What the fuck?
She didn't want to be woke up. I tried to be nice and it didn't. I don't know what exactly was going on with her at that time. I was about 14 when this happened.
I would like
So
to say if I was 14 and that happened, that I would throw in the food at my parents and then ran. Because I could have outrun my parents at that time, but I don't know if I would have.
No,
What the fuck?
I
Seriously.
didn't throw the food. I took my punishment, cleaned up the kitchen, and went to school. I
That's
mean,
just- I'm sorry.
it happened.
Cruel.
You know, it's just one of the things that's happened in the past. And it's one of the things that as she got older, she forgot. She has no memory of it whatsoever. It is burned into my mind as clear as day, but she has no memory of it.
Yeah.
I mean,
although I can't say, I don't know. I think that I probably would have special ingredient.
oh no, I had to stop cooking everything because the smell was bothering her, so it all went to the trash.
Wow.
You didn't even eat it?
No, I hurt too much to do that afterwards. I don't think I ate for a few days after that, actually. I was afraid to go in the kitchen.
Kind of sound like me. When I'm very unhappy, I don't eat. If I'm overheated, I don't eat. If I'm sad, I don't eat. If I'm angry, I don't eat. Like, I eat when I'm happy. And I got up to 250 pounds, so I must have been happy for a while there.
It was all stress eating that made me diabetic.
I don't even
Ate my
stress
feelings.
You know,
Ate my feelings.
I've been the victim of the emotional eating thing, so, you know, granted, I can't, I don't, victim is the wrong word. I did it all to myself. I know that. You know, but.
Does emotional plucking the wings off flies count?
Mm.
I've never done that. I'm just wondering. I did throw a lot of bugs into spider webs.
Yeah, but you're feeding the spooters.
Also torturing the animals.
I mean, I don't know. That's just like nature, though, to me. I mean...
Yeah, Kat just said nearly nothing keeps you from eating, unfortunately. Ariel, same, Kat. Yeah. I like the fact that I don't emotionally eat, because if I did... I'd have to learn how to not feel.
I would. There was one night, back, I think it was like last March or April. I ate an entire bag of Tostitos in one night.
Holy sh... Well, that's about 4 pounds added.
It was over a long period of time. It wasn't like, I ate it in just like one sitting.
Oh, okay.
It was over the course of an entire night. But, yeah.
I bought an entire 3-gallon ice cream thing from Thrifty's of strawberry cheesecake and ate it almost by myself. It was gone in about a week and a half.
Jeez.
And then I wonder why I'm borderline diabetic. No, I don't wonder.
Yeah, this one time this was back when I was going to college up in Wisconsin. We bought one of those big those barrel-looking tubs of those Utz pretzel nuggets. Oh, those are so good. And I polished that entire thing off inside a week.
That's too much pretzel for me.
I had a friend who... Okay, so there is a Chinese restaurant up in my hometown. It's the only Chinese restaurant in my hometown. And they were notorious for keeping their basement wide open, which is also their storeroom for everything that didn't need to be refrigerated. One of my friends walked in there, grabbed a case of fortune cookies, and walked out with it. There were 2 bags of fortune cookies in the case. He gave me one of the bags. I ate the entire bag in a week. And I can tell you, from experience, those bags of fortune cookies, there's only about 25 fortunes total. Just repeating.
Jeez.
How do you even eat that many fortune cookies, honestly? I mean, like, they don't taste like anything to me.
They actually have a mild taste to them that's actually very distinctly a fortune cookie. And when you're sitting up all night playing Super Nintendo because you're 17 or 18 years old and you have a TV in your room, yeah. and everybody else in the house is asleep, and you're hungry, you don't want to disturb anyone. You just pull the bag of freaking
Fortune cookies.
You just pull out the bag of fortune cookies out from
cookies.
out from under the bed and just start munching. All right, Ariel.
Teenage boys really will eat almost anything.
Oh God.
Oh,
yes. Oh yeah.
There was a guy in my high school bio class who, at the time, worked at the movie theater. He got fired for doing this. Every Friday, he'd bring in a garbage bag. Those real big yellow garbage bags. Full of popcorn.
Oh my God.
He'd bring it to class and, like, pass it around.
Like, I am a popcorn addict, and I love it when... I don't even buy microwave popcorn hardly anymore. I pop mine on the stove because I think it tastes better. And I just... Yeah, that's one thing I could make a pig of myself on is popcorn.
Yeah, but this dude would bring it to class, like, you know, it's 9:30 in the morning, and he'd walk into bio class with this thing over his shoulder like Santa Claus.
I would look at him like he was Santa Claus. You brought me popcorn.
He looked at this big, huge sack.
Like, yay!
As he called it, the corn
that girl
sack
is happy.
over his shoulder.
Give me the popcorn.
What the fuck? So
He
Ariel,
just passing around the class, you know.
Ariel is saying that she got the worst fortune lately. That's what it was, and she finally came back with it. It could be better, but it's good enough. What the
In bed. Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah, between the sheets.
It could be better, but it's good enough. In bed.
And then I love the one that Kat threw out. Help! I'm being held prisoner in a Chinese fortune cookie factory. And then also Ariel said, Bex, I have a mystery arrangement of different bags of popcorn.
Oh, really?
Oh my God.
Do you know they make misfortune cookies now?
Did not know about that.
You can buy their black fortune cookies that have a misfortune in them instead of like one of them. They cracked it open and it said maybe it's time for another therapy session. Your ship hasn't sailed. It's delayed by around 2 lifetimes.
Damn.
Oof.
Yeah.
I can't remember. There's a brand of popcorn that we have out here. I can't remember what it's called. It comes in this cone shape, and they have, like, caramel, they have zebra, they have all these different... Oh, my God. I don't care for popcorn. I go ballistic over this stuff. Like, I can't get enough of it. I can't remember the name of it. And I think it's just a local brand.
Life is a symphony, and you're playing the kazoo.
That hit a little hard there.
Oh.
Thanks, Vernon.
There's one that says, at least I believe in you. Me, a piece of paper. Oh my God. Some of these, you'll have to look them up. You can look them up on the internet. They're called misfortune cookies. And you can just look up misfortune cookie quotes, and they'll show you, the quotes out of the cookies. And they're hilarious. And you can buy them on, like, Amazon.
That is funny.
We used to have, like, a box of fortune cookies in the pantry because we'd eat stir fry all the time. And these fortunes that they had were so generic. And they didn't have the lucky numbers. It was just the fortunes. But they were all, like, the most generic fortunes.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Like, oh, you're going to get a good grade.
I think we got it. Yes.
What?
Popcornopolis.
Popcornopolis.
Yeah, May nailed it. And she said it right. The zebra blend is diabetes in a bag. White and dark chocolate.
Oh my God. That looks amazing.
Seriously, it is the best popcorn. Like, this is gourmet popcorn.
Holy shit. They have fried pickle popcorn.
Yeah.
this big
Oh.
popcorn brand here in Chicago. I've never had it, but I've always heard great reviews about it.
I want some of this. Ooh, they sell this shit at Target.
I can't remember the name.
And
So
Costco.
it starts with a G.
I know something that starts with a D. Diabetes. What are you thinking, you
No,
jerk?
G.
30.
Like Go-Berts or
Oh,
like that.
G like golf.
Yeah.
Oh my god, they have honey butter? And this shit is not cheap. This Popcornopolis is not cheap.
Neither is this.
You
stuff I'm
can
talking
get
about. Here.
you can get a variety pack on Amazon. 12 cones. Including zebra, cheddar, caramel, and kettle corn. For $20.
I was gonna say, if you go to their homepage, create your own pouch, case of 6 pouches, $29.99 as shown,
Woo!
Wow.
or a case of 6 double drizzle 7.5 ounce pouches, $30. But
A
you could get the classic 2-gallon Popcornopolis for $52.
It's about the same price on Amazon. Wow.
I know what I'm
I
doing
want
after
some
this.
of this
show.
popcorn now. And here we've segued again off onto something else, but
3.5 gallon tin for $72.
I want some popcorn now.
Seriously, Zebra is the best. I mean, you look at it, it's caramel corn with white and dark chocolate drizzle.
Wow.
And there's
Wow.
there's like no part of the kernel that's like not covered. It's like they cover it all. It is.
Wow.
Yeah, that's dangerous. I am not going to have to. I'm going to have to not buy that because, yeah, danger.
Hey, I happen to love honey butter. Okay, I'm getting made fun of because my voice cracked when I said honey butter.
There's nothing wrong with honey butter. Oh my god, there's a restaurant here that has a honey butter chicken biscuit on their breakfast menu that is amazing.
Ooh.
And it is covered. You pick up this biscuit with this chicken tender in it, and the honey butter drips out on your hands. And
I love homemade honey butter. Like,
Can I quote Krieger on this?
What was that?
Can I quote Krieger from Archer about this?
Oh, by all means, I love Krieger.
Stop! My penis can only get so erect. Honey butter
I
biscuit.
knew he was going to do that.
That's the classic right there.
Oh,
Now,
My penis can only get so weak.
all right, so everybody, spoiler alert: if you haven't watched Archer, this is a years old episode, so you only have yourself to blame. How about when Krieger doesn't know if he's the original or the clone?
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that one.
It was a season finale where he found that he was because he's supposedly a clone of Adolf Hitler. And then it turns out he's not the only clone. There's a bunch of them. And they all start cooperating and get along really well until all of a sudden they power trip. Because, well, they're clones of Adolf Hitler. And only one survives. And the one that survives isn't sure if he was the original one that was part of, the agency. Or if he was one of the clones that came after the fact that had all the memories of being at the agency.
Oh, jeez. It's like a Ship of Theseus type thing.
Yes. So how about your dad? Is he still around? Is he...
Oh, yeah,
Because it sounds like you have a cool relationship with him.
we used to not get along so good. He's got a bit of a temper. But nowadays, we get along pretty good.
That's good. Yeah, my dad and I growing up, he had a temper. I mean, he's not a very tall man, But, it's not the size of the dog in the fight. It's the fight in the
size
of the dog. Yeah. Oh, my dad definitely had that Irish wolfhound fight in him. Ooh, man, he was scary when he was angry. Like a pit bull that wants blood. He was scary.
Oh,
Now I just like making him laugh on Facebook.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and now he's just like a regular old pit bull.
Don't start me about pits.
My dad, I was scared of pits growing up because it's like my dad got me to be scared of them. Now I love them. They're just the biggest, dumbest, friendliest dogs. They are just big.
Don't tell it to my friend.
Yeah, well, all it takes is one bad experience.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, I guess like you said, man, he is terrifying when he's angry.
I don't know very many people that could say that their dad wasn't terrifying when angry. But when I had my friends turn around and go, my dad's scary, your dad's terrifying, I knew my dad was terrifying.
Yeah, as long as he's not in a bad mood, he's great. He's great to be around.
Yeah, my dad's now retired, and yeah, he is so much fun to be around. Actually, my dad was my best man at my first wedding. That's how much our relationship did a 180. I went from hating everything about him to he was my best man.
I didn't get to know if my dad had that terrifying streak in him or not because I was so young. And I mean, I was the baby of the family and nobody else spoiled me, but Dad did. I mean, so I never got to the age where I got to see that if he had a temper come out. My mother was always the disciplinarian in the house. Always.
All right, remember we made that joke a little bit. Ariel just said that they took the moment when we were talking about Archer to go take her meds. Took my meds! High five!
Woo!
But yeah, seriously, no, we celebrate that. You're taking care of yourself.
Yes.
See, Bexy and I still, more often than not, message each other about meds.
Yes, I did forget to message today, but I did take them.
Yep. It was actually really funny because when we talked about doing the accountability buddy stuff, very next morning I wake up and there's a message from Brandy saying, I took my meds, did you?
Yeah. I've gotten a few from her too. Did you take your meds?
Love you, Brandy. Miss you on our show. I know you have stuff going on when we're live. Can't wait till that ends so you can come back to us.
Yes.
So, I got a question for you, Mr. W. Now that we're coming up to getting close to wrapping up on the show, I've never asked any of the guests this while it's still on the air. What do you think of it so far? What do you think of being on the air?
Definitely a new experience for me. Never been on a podcast before.
Yeah, we're a little bit different because we're live. A lot of podcasts, they record it and then edit it.
Right.
I think that's what gives our podcast a lot of character, though.
Yeah.
Is with us being live, you really never do know what's going to fly out of one of our mouths at any given time.
And you never know what the chat room's going to say.
We're going to go off on.
Yeah, like May just asked, "What's your favorite color?"
Probably black.
And then ask, "What's your favorite memory?" Now, see, this is the kind of stuff I would like to see from the chat. Is kind of. Oh, now that's a good question. She just threw out a great question.
High school graduation. Oh, that was because, like I said earlier, a lot of my acquaintances in high school were faculty, not students, and this really shined through on graduation day because I was walking up, both going up and going down the aisles, I was getting high fives and everything from almost everyone in the faculty. It was slowing down the line. Going up to the podium. Like, there were people behind me in line starting to get pissed. It was slowing them down.
This is a good question. I wish that this would have been asked before. I love it. How do you want to be remembered?
Positively.
How do you want to be remembered?
Positively.
Yes.
That's what I've always worried about. One of my biggest worries, and I'm a very anxious person, one of my biggest worries, what are they going to remember?
I've come to peace with how I'm going to be remembered. I'm pretty sure I know how people are going to remember me at this point, and I'm good with it. I'm not done yet. I still have a lot more I want to do, but if I were to die today, I'd be pretty happy with what I'd be remembered for. And I know that my legacy would live on for a while, a few generations, and I'm good with that.
Well, if you remember anything of me after I leave this world, I want people to remember that I loved even when it was foolish, and that I cared even when it was unwanted. Because when my body is gone, I want people to remember my heart.
I just want to be buried with my ass sticking out of the ground so my friends have a place to park their bike when they visit me.
No.
What about you, C?
What do I want to be remembered for?
Yeah, how do you want to be remembered?
I don't know, as someone who tried to help people, I guess. I don't really know.
A really good assignment I got when I was at the anxiety treatment center. Write your own obituary. It sounds really morbid and it sounds disturbing, but it is a really good way to put yourself on a path of how you want to be remembered. It was a great assignment. It was very, very cathartic and very revealing for myself. I actually got to learn myself quite a bit. So I challenge all of you, write your own obituary. You won't regret it.
I don't know that I could do that.
And Bexy, you got all the loves in the chat. C, are you okay?
You know, Huh?
C, are you okay? You don't need to answer if you don't want to. Cat doesn't want one. And then we're talking about the whole thing about black aerials. It's the absorption of all colors. And I was like, well, it's also the combination of all colors. Depends on whether it's lights or dyes. You're breaking up really bad. Oh, yeah, I think you said that you went to go get some water, but it's like really broken up and quiet. Okay, so you're okay. Okay.
Yeah, but you know, I'd like to be remembered. I'd like to be remembered nicely, but you know, I honestly, in the end, I have no control over how people remember me. I mean, some people are going to think I'm great, and some people are going to think I'm not. So, something has you. I need to read the chat, don't I?
Cat. I'm like my maternal grandmother. Burn me up and flush me down the toilet.
Oh my god.
And Ariel says, we love you, C. You know what? Cremate me, compact me into a suppository, and then cram me up your ass. So I had one grandmother, my grandmama, loved her to death. I miss her. Oh, sorry, maternal grandfather. Sorry, my bad, cat. So my grandmama, my maternal grandma, she listened to Metallica, and she played Nintendo. She was pretty badass, and she said if she died the way that she wanted to die, she'd have a dildo in one hand, a bong in the other, and don't you dare wipe the smile off her face.
Wow. Wow.
Ow.
Zero filter. Love it.
Ah.
Yeah, and that's pretty much par for my mom's side of the family.
I love it. I love it.
Like my mom is really big on shock humor. My dad's really big on intellectual humor. So I like to blend them both. I like to say shocking things that take a minute to tease out. And Ariel about me saying about being, make me into a suppository and cram me up your ass. She's like, well, okay, if you insist, E. And Ariel's like, your grandma sounds amazing. And Kat's just like, wow. Yeah, my grandma... Yeah, my grandfather was a world champion boat racer. Like the Miss Budweiser style hydroplane, hydrofoil, high-speed boat racing. He held the world record for fastest speed on the water. It lasted all of 10 minutes before his best friend broke it.
Are you kidding?
No, but he did win the world championship one year. Had a 6-foot-tall trophy in his living room for a full year. They do it like the Stanley Cup, where they add a name onto the plaque and then hand it off the next year.
Wow.
Yeah, and they both were competitive skeet shooting. Always took us out camping. Like, my grandparents, they lived. Even when their bodies were broken, they lived. And my grandfather's boat, my entire life, my grandfather always had a boat. I wonder why.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I'm not an outdoorsy guy at all. But I want to get a motorcycle and just, not ride cross country, but just get out and ride it. I'm tired of surviving. I want to freaking live.
Then do it. You won't get me on a motorcycle because I don't trust myself. I know how I'd ride the motorcycle. Let's just say that I was on a BMX bike in flip-flops, t-shirts, short, no helmet, no safety gear at all. And I was going down a hill so fast I was passing the cars around me.
Oh my God.
They were doing 45.
What?
One high-speed wobble and I would have been street pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't trust myself on a motorcycle.
No, I wouldn't. I can't see you on a motorcycle anyway.
I wouldn't do a chopper or like a Harley or American Eagle. No, I would get the crotch rocket.
On a sport bike, yeah.
And no, I just see you marching into battle on the back of this enormous spider that you have.
If I were
D&D style.
Yep. Now I would absolutely if I were to get a motorcycle, I want a Kawasaki Ninja.
Yeah.
That is a really nice little bike. They come in a lot of varieties. No,
yep.
I don't trust myself.
400s, 1000s, yeah.
Yeah, I don't trust myself on a Hayabusa, but I can't afford one anyway, so that's a good thing.
I was at the motorcycle show with my best friend a couple years ago, and they had 2 Hayabusas sitting there on the floor, and my friend got on one of them, and I'm just seeing him on this thing, and he is way more outdoorsy than me, and I'm looking at him, and I'm just thinking, dude, you both fit on this bike, and at the same time, you just don't fit on this thing at all, because it's a race bike, basically.
Yeah, Hayabusas are big bikes. They're long.
Yeah. And then you get guys who stretch them.
Yeah, May was all. I've got to run. Love you all. Thanks for sharing your story with us tonight, Mr. W with a heart.
Yep.
Aw.
No problem.
Yeah, did you ever see the Dodge Tomahawk?
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, that's basically if you want to die. If you want to, like, if
It's
you
got a V10 in it
it's a Dodge Viper engine.
with wheels.
Yeah, and
2 wheels.
Yep.
Well, 4 technically, but
technically 4, but it's still arranged like a bike. And if you fall without any safety gear, you're not street pizza, you're grease. You were a freaking grease spot with some bone shards. And if you hit a wall, yeah, you're going through the wall, but there's not going to be much of you left.
You're a Kool-Aid guy.
Yeah, except that you come out the other side, you're going to look like pizza sauce.
Ooh, not a pretty look.
The one time I've ever ridden a, air quotes, motorcycle was on a scooter up in Fish Creek, Wisconsin. I felt like I was flying.
All right, so
We were only going like 35, but holy shit.
your accent doesn't really come out much until you say Wisconsin.
You know, I have a friend who's from Minnesota.
Oh, Minnesota.
Yeah.
You know, and they actually, it's really funny when you, they sent me a video. They're like, you want to know about my accent? Here, listen to this. And they sent me this TikTok video of this woman called That Midwestern Mom.
Oh, jeez. I've seen her.
She does this whole thing of Minnesota salads that aren't really salads.
Yeah, I've heard about that one. I haven't seen that one, but I've heard about it.
Well, there's also...
It's hilarious.
What was her name on the show? On Supernatural, the Minnesota cop.
Oh, Donna, you betcha.
Oh, you betcha. She went from a little bit fluffy and pretty to, holy crap, girl, you're like a model. They had to put you in a fat suit.
Oh my God, seeing her in person, I've met her.
But she is gorgeous.
You met her?
I have met her. Oh my God, what is her name? Why does her name escape me?
Are you talking about Kim?
No, that's Kim Rhodes is Jody.
Yeah, but
Talking about Donna.
Yeah, it's like, you know why Jody
Brianna
always...
Buckmaster.
That's right, Brianna Buckmaster. But it's like, you know why Jody always wore long sleeves? Because she's tatted up!
Yes, she is.
Like,
Zach and Cody's mom has tattoos.
yeah, her normal look, short, spiky, iced hair, frosted hair. I mean, she totally looks like, okay, she's like some club DJ is what she looks like. But then you get her on Supernatural, she's like this wholesome hometown sheriff.
And then you see her on TikTok, and she is not wholesome.
No.
She's hilarious.
Oh, she's hilarious on Twitter, too.
But I remember.
But yeah, I've met her. I've met Brianna Buckmaster, and I've met Emily Swallow, the one that plays the Darkness, Amara.
Ooh.
Now, you want to talk about a lady that is gorgeous in person.
She is.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she was breathtaking on the show.
It's even more in person.
And of course,
But
then
still.
there's of course Fergus.
Fergus. Oh my God, she's so funny.
Oh, I love her.
I still need to do like a thing. I want to go to a con and I want to meet her in person. I have spoken to her, said hello in the hallway of a con, and seen her on stage and her little things. But I really do want to like meet her in person and get a picture with her.
She's shorter than you.
She is tiny. She is teeny-tiny and so skinny.
But man, can she
She's just a little.
dominate scenes.
Yes, she can. She has presence.
That lady's got some gravitas.
Yes, she does.
Like when
She got some big old balls and she wears them on her chest.
chesticles.
Yes.
As I was saying. I remember. Now, this whole park at Fish Creek is like a big camping area, so you get all these like RVs and shit driving through there. And you got people renting scooters. So they tell you, you pull over if someone comes up behind, a car comes up behind you, pull over.
That's the right thing to do.
Right away, you don't. And I remember we're coming over this one ridge, and I'm right along it. My dad's in front, brother's behind him, I'm behind my brother, mom's at the back. And I hear mom shouting something. I couldn't tell what she was saying. And I'm like, what? And she's like, car! And I'm like, what? And right after I said what, this massive, like coach bus sized RV just blows my door off. Like missing me by inches.
Oh.
Maybe a foot. You can feel the breeze from this thing. And I'm like, oh, you said car.
Oh, that's what you were saying.
Yeah, I remember my dad and brother pulled over as it came by, and I pulled up behind him, and mom rolls up behind us, and I'm like, oh, that's what you said. Literally, that's what I'm like, oh, that's what you said.
Actually, it's kind of so I just went and looked up. So it was Ruth McConnell, Rowena.
Yes.
Believe it or not, she was only on 33 episodes.
It feels like she was on so much more than that.
Right? Bobby, only 68.
And
Crowley, 67.
wow.
Like some of these characters, like they're so impactful, but they've barely got a screen time. Guess how many times Chuck was on episodes?
Probably not a lot.
No. Guess.
Probably like 20 episodes.
So close. 19.
See, I was, going through my head in my Supernatural file, adding it up. Somehow I added an extra one.
Gabriel.
Less than Chuck.
Yeah, 12.
Yeah.
And of course, everybody loved Charlie, Felicia Day.
Oh, God. She wasn't even on there for maybe 10 or 12.
12. And
yeah, I grieved over her dying. I loved Charlie.
My favorite version of Meg, Rachel Miner. 10.
I was going to say 8 to 10 episodes. That lady right there, let me tell you, that is the epitome of a beautiful human being.
She really
when
is.
You step into her aura, I mean, honestly,
I want to meet her so badly.
She radiates love and peace and light, and it is amazing to step in her presence.
When I was still on Twitter, whenever I would like get engaged in one of her, anytime that she was around, like all my snark just melted away. I couldn't.
Yeah.
All right, so Kurt Fuller, Zachariah. You know you hated him.
I know I did.
9 episodes.
Oh. Wow. I was trying to think. And I was also reading Mr. W's comment in the chat here.
Uh-oh. Yeah, meanwhile, C did throw in a message in the chat. Well, I gotta go, guys. I'm getting really tired. Sorry not for being able to tell you this in the Zoom call, Mr. W, but thank you for telling us your story and to be here with us.
Yes.
Well, you're welcome, C. You're welcome.
C is an amazing person.
Yes.
Seems
we
like
love them. But this has been, I'm really, really, really glad that you decided to come on the show, Mr. W, because I think, part of the process of starting to, you said you want to live, you don't just want to exist.
That sounds like someone else that we know
who
has a lot of the same kind of, autism, ADHD. Someone else we know.
Yes.
Deverne.
And yes, definitely. I was hoping he would pop in tonight.
I was hoping so too. Same awesome voice as that same
energy.
Same positive energy.
Yes, definitely. I mean,
if you two met, you'd either hit it off or hate each other. There's not going to be any in between.
Yeah, that would. I could see that.
Yeah, but I think they would hit it off.
I think so too. Do
you like trains?
They both.
More
W.
cars than trains, but
Mr. W likes cars, but I think it's transportation, vehicles. It could correlate into something.
All right, so cars. What's your dream car? Like if you could have any single car, even if it's a one-time, it's only been made one copy of it, whatever car, what would it be?
Oh man, I have no idea.
Baby.
Ooh.
I just want baby.
My flashy side comes out. I want a Shelby Supercar Ultimate Aero.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of real fancy cars that I really want, but there's also some cars that I'm like, you know what? I just want one of these to daily.
Honestly,
I'm sitting here looking.
A Nissan GTR. It is such a it's such a
He's
sleeper car. But it's such a sleeper car. Like you see it, if you don't know what it is, you don't know. It looks like a regular, grocery getter, day-to-day car. But that car will blow the doors off of everything on the road, including the cars.
Yeah, it's a Nissan.
Yeah, not only that, if you get the R spec from Nismo, the Godzilla spec, whoo! Ain't nobody catching you.
Someone in my town has one.
Oh, God.
This spec car.
Someone here actually has one of the GT spec Hellcat.
Oh!
You hear that car from a mile away. I'm like, which key do you have today, sir? The red key or not?
Yeah.
I changed my mind. I want an Ecto 1.
The what?
The Ecto 1.
Oh!
I have all kinds of car things over here.
My grandfather, the same one that did all the boat racing and all that stuff, but the same grandfather had on his property the one, the only Sweet and Low upholstery van from Cheech and Chong's Up in Smoke.
No!
Holy
Serious.
shit.
I got to sit and play in that thing. It was a dead vehicle, but it was there. And it still said Sweet and Low upholstery on it. It was still green. It still had the rough texture to it. Oh, God.
Wow.
Oh.
And when he had it, I had no idea what it was. I was like, hey, this is a cool vehicle. And then, after it was taken off his property, he was just storing it for someone. Then when they took it away, it was a year later, I finally watched the movie and I went, how come I didn't get a picture of me in that thing?
Something you never think of.
Yeah.
Yeah. I might be revealing a bit much about myself, but I live right by the Volo Auto Museum. And they have a lot of movie cars. They got both Ecto 1s.
Ooh.
Both the original and the one from the remake.
Wow.
They only show the original one.
Well, the remake didn't happen.
They put out the remake one, and people complained.
Isn't
People
there
were
another
bitching
Ghostbusters
and moaning
coming
about
out?
it.
I mean, the biggest issue, I think, with that remake of Ghostbusters was it was an all-female cast for no reason other than it was an all-female cast.
2020, or whatever year it was.
Yeah, it's just... And admittedly, some of those women are great comedians.
Leslie Jones. Oh,
Yeah, they're great, but...
Supermarket sweep!
Are you kidding me? I love Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah, she's awesome, but
She's all right.
but it was too contrived, too forced, too inorganic. Now, if they were the daughters of, and they're taking over in their dad's place,
Yes.
that would make sense. That was so easy to just write in.
I thought the one was like related to one of them.
I don't know. I didn't.
I don't know about that, but I know that there's
Like
another
their techie
Ghostbusters
was related to
coming
that
out.
nerd guy from the first movie.
Egon?
No, the guy who kept locking himself out of his apartment.
Oh, Rick Moranis.
Yeah, like their techie is related to that guy.
Oh, God.
Like she said that like they're cousins or something. It's like briefly mentioned.
Yeah, there's
It's
another
completely missed
Ghostbusters coming.
Yep.
Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Now, the thing is that Harold Ramis was he didn't act very often, but he was absolutely perfect as Egon. He was much more comfortable behind the camera.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't realize that that's where he really got famous. He was a great director and producer.
Oh, yes.
Multiplicity, absolutely brilliant piece of work that just did not get the credit it deserved.
That's true.
Now, to answer your question, I don't really have a single dream car, but like a dream type of car I want to own and want it daily. And you guys are going to laugh because you were around during this time. I want something from the Malaise era.
From what?
Something big and comfy.
Ah.
Like a nice big old station wagon.
So you want
Oh,
like a boat.
Mm-hmm.
He wants a land yacht.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I do.
Oh, God.
One of my best friends drove one of those things. They are a gas-guzzling nightmare. They're hard to park. They're hard.
They are.
They're a pain.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
One of my best friends used to have a yellow Thunderbird. I called it the Thunder Chicken.
Nice.
My dad had a Roadrunner.
Ooh.
And it did the beep beep and everything.
Yes. Well, that's where they got the sound. That's where they got the sound for the cartoon. Was from the Roadrunner's horn.
Backwards. No, the horn was developed because of the Roadrunner cartoon.
Oh.
They spent over $1 million to get that horn to work right.
Wow.
Yeah, my dad got it, and then he traded it for a 56 Chevy Delivery. He said it's still, to this day, the worst decision he ever made. And I love that car. I don't remember the Roadrunner, but I remember the Delivery.
There is a kid in my neighborhood, he's like maybe 20, who drives like a 77, I think it is, Cougar.
Whoa.
I'm like, dude, what are you doing? you're like barely out of high school and you're driving this. You're dailying this. Yeah, it's gray. It's got matching velour seats. Beautiful car.
Yeah,
But
my
he
mom
dailies it.
had I think it was a 70s Nova.
There was a lady who used to come through the drive-through when I worked at Dairy Queen when I was like 18. And she had a 1964 Mercury Comet, and this thing was beautiful.
Wow.
And they dailied that? I don't know what year my mom's Nova was. I loved that car. It broke my heart when they had to get rid of it.
I still kick myself over not looking into this car. There was someone in my town selling I believe it was 75 Grand Marquis. And it was perfect. Literally perfect condition.
Ugh.
Like showroom.
I want to say my mom's Nova was a 69 Chevy Nova.
And I remember seeing it in town once before it was sold. Had the for sale sign still on the car, just driving it around. And I'm coming the other way, and I was rubbernecking as this dude drove past. I'm like, whoa!
Yep, I was right. My mom had a 69 Nova. Oh, God, that was a beautiful car. You know why that Novas didn't sell very well in Mexico, right?
Yep. Because of the name.
Yep. In Spanish, it's no go. Plus, there's
Yeah.
Not move.
why would you name a car? Why would you want to name a car that it doesn't move? Anyway, we should probably wrap it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, thank you very much for coming on the show.
I'm
Thank you
so
for having
glad
me.
you came on the show.
Yeah, again, C gives her apologies. She sent us a chat as well. So thank you guys, because she was getting really tired. She was letting us know. She said, please tell Mr. W that I appreciate him telling us his story and that he was lovely to have on. Thank you, hearts.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, definitely. And if you're still available on Thursdays, come check us out. Get in the chat. Hang out with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll send you links if you want.
All right.
I post one on Twitter every week.
Yep, and Ariel just said thank you. So yeah, I guess that's it. We'll be back next week. I don't know if we have a guest scheduled or not, but I do know that C definitely has an episode that they want to share. I think Bexy may have an episode they want to share, and it looks like Bexy's really happy that they found someone.
Yeah, I just found someone for the 5th, so.
Cool. All right. Yeah, we're gonna make it to the end of the season, no problem.
Oh, yeah.
So, until next week, I'm E,
And I'm Betsy.
and on behalf of C, we'll catch you next week.